Scene script. Walk your talk, one step at a time. Do you claim health is important to you? Then skip the gym for 6 weeks. Do you believe being productive is important, but work only on the night before a deadline? Do you believe relationships are important, but let your social life stagnate? How do you close that gap between what you value and how you behave? Blogging has helped me close that gap by forcing me to walk my talk. I'm far from perfect. Like everyone, I make mistakes and often fail to live up to the things I consider important. But writing has made it easier to stay consistent with those values instead of falling into excuses. Imperfections are part of life. I think it's sad that some people feel that because being perfectly consistent with your values is impossible, that there is no point trying to debug the inconsistencies. Some self-improvement cynicism is the result of demanding the impossible, expecting perfection instead of progress. My goal has been to notice gaps between my philosophy of life and my behaviors. I'm certainly nowhere near perfection, but even in just a few years of deliberately pursuing this strategy, I've made improvements. Here are a few of the inconsistencies I've debugged over the past few years, from slob to productive. Productivity and organization were important to me, but I was a messy, undisciplined procrastinator. Focusing on building the right habits and training myself has almost completely closed this gap. Unhealthy to fit. My health and energy levels were important to me, but until a few years ago, I rarely exercised and didn't have great eating habits. Fast forward to today, and I eat a vegetarian diet while exercising regularly. Non-reader to literary glutton. I would have read less than a dozen books in 2002 or 2003. Over the last few years, I've averaged about 70 books each year. Night owl to early riser. After reading about the potential benefits of waking up early for productivity, I made the switch from waking up at 7:30 to 8 o'clock back to 5:30. Unconscious spender to budget maker. After seeing how my finances weren't being guided, I put in place a more thorough system for recording and budgeting my expenses. Occasional downloader to abstainer. I'm against downloading music illegally. But laziness in this belief meant that music would sometimes wind up on my hard drive from less than reputable sources. I stopped adding new music to my library that wasn't paid in full several months ago. Recently, I took the final step of cleaning my hard drive and MP3 player of any remaining music. Shy to extroverted. A few years ago, my social life was nearly a zero. I had only a few close friends and wasn't as outgoing as I'd like to be. Now I have many friends and enjoy being spontaneous in meeting new people. I point out these changes because none were instantaneous. Even after I had decided my beliefs on an issue, it took work to change my behavior.